I'm gonna do a roll call again on, this is a public hearing agenda for Monday, August 26th, 24 at 4:30, which is 5:10 now. And, I'm gonna do a roll call. Mr. Burson?
Present.
Mr. Pope?
Present.
Mr. Lucas?
Present.
Mr. Hendrick here, the chair is here. Okay. I'm gonna bypass the, prayer and the,
National anthem.
and the anthems. Okay, on the agenda item, this is a rezoning request for 1925 Carswell Avenue, parcel number WA 0208-014 from R75 Mobile Home Residential Mobile Home District and SDD R75 Mobile Home Special Development Residential Mobile Home District to C2 Special Development District Highway Commercial. So, James, you get up here and tell us what it's all about. Okay.
I just have a question for you.
Okay.
All right. So, this is a request to rezone this property, as you mentioned, from R75MH and SD R75MH to C2 and SDD C2 commercial. This has been requested by the applicants, and that's Michael and Jamie Musgrove. The purpose of this is to open a coffee shop or some similar type of business like that. The size of this property is about 0.98 acres, so just shy of an acre. The property to the north of it, you've got R75, C2, and SDD C2. So you got some residential and commercial to the north of it. Also got it pulled up on the map to give you an idea of that. To the south of it, you've got SD R75, R75, in the city of Waycross. And for that, you've got C2 in the city. And a little bit further past that, you've got some C2 and SDD C2 down by Corridor Z, so out by the college. So, major street plan has both Carswell and South Augusta listed as principal arterial roads. Well, Augusta's a principal arterial, my apologies, and Carswell's a minor arterial, so pretty populated roads. And sites will have access to both water and sewer. And on July, I believe it was July the 11th, the Planning Commission approved this request, so we're passing this along for your consideration.
Okay.
And just zoom in. Get a little bit tired zoom. So you can see to the north of it, you got C2, these storage buildings, you got a gas station over here. Got some residential apartments across the street, the Ocean Breeze apartments, and the city back here.
Okay.
And
It's gonna be used for a coffee shop.
that is my understanding, but we also have the applicants here. If you have any questions for them, they are available.
Is that before the railroad tracks going west, or is that?
This is at Carswell, so
It's
this is
on
going
Carswell and
north
Augusta.
from the college.
Carl and Augusta.
Yeah,
Right across from
Right across from-
Lee's,
From Pogo and then the storage units.
Storage unit,
Carl and
yeah.
Augusta.
Or is right there, the old daycare place? Used to be a daycare is where it's gonna be?
yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So right here, you can see the college down here, and it's just about a block or two up, depending on how you look at it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and just for the record, the proposed zoning is in conformity with the land use plan.
Okay.
I just thought I was looking at the railroad on one of them.
Let's see, railroad, that would be right up here.
a
think-
good location.
Yeah,
anymore.
it stated that says a coffee shop or a similar retail business. So I guess if it's approved, then whatever is allowed, as it said in this what, C2,
Yes.
then they can put it in there, even if they decide, if they change and say, well, hey, we don't want a coffee shop, we're gonna do it, they can still do it because it's in compliance with the zoning.
It
Well, you
could
gotta-
be. This is just what we were presented, information, so.
You also got a steakhouse, Uncle Wayne's, I believe is the name of it.
Barbecue.
Barbecue.
Anytime you rezone a piece of,
Yeah.
anytime you rezone a piece of property, it's not just for whatever use they intend to use it for, it's for whatever use is allowed in that district.
In that zone.
So, what you get in a situation like this is with just a .98 acre parcel, and is you get where meeting parking requirements, if you try to go to a big retail or something like that. So there's some restrictions that will prevent it from being a big retail, but as far as, a small commercial establishment, it would work.
So I guess this is a residence right
Little
across the street.
restaurant.
Sir?
This White House with the railing and stuff around, that's a residence right there.
It's always been
That's it used to
Always
be a
been a
house.
daycare.
it's always been it's been a daycare for the last number of years.
Okay,
So it was a residential
Yeah,
house.
residential.
That was turned into a daycare.
so right now it's just vacant.
Right, it's just vacant.
Okay.
Miss Simmons, owned that daycare, and I think Miss Simmons had some health issues, and she decided to, retire. And then the Musgroves are now purchasing it. And then you can see they've got 3 driveways, 2 on Carlsville and 1 on Augusta that they could actually use, to, get in and out of, so, for traffic patterns.
Yeah,
That's all I have.
okay. Any more?
So the rezoning would, meet the existing use of the neighborhood?
Yes, sir. There's no neighborhood other than the,
Have mobile.
residential, which is all rental across the street, which is Ocean Breeze. Everything else is commercial. South of it is vacant and was annexed into the city. And I believe a church has purchased that and they plan to build a church on that property.
Okay.
And then the rest of it's commercial.
Just to clarify, the neighborhood there, it's listed as urban fringe on our character area map. That was part of the comprehensive plan. And that would include residential and light commercial, so this would fit within the purview of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more support? Okay, do we have anybody that opposes this thing? Any opposition on this thing? No opposition? Okay, we'll carry it over then. Any commission comment? All right. I hear a motion to adjourn this public hearing.
So moved, Chair.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we'll get out of this public hearing. Now we're gonna go into the Monday, August 26th, Board of Commission call meeting agenda. Okay, and I'm gonna waive the prayer and the pledge of allegiance. Okay, we have any guest speakers? All right, agenda items. Courthouse control and vac box turnkey project proposal. I hear a motion that we accept that price.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the proposal from Train for the installation of the HVAC system or upgrade the HVAC system in the courthouse, cost of $918,000 come from ARPA funds.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on it?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if Ms. Madam Attorney, Scott, you know, we talked about the warranty aspect of it, especially the, labor part of it. And that's something, he said that he was gonna look into that and I guess see if we can, you know, get a little relief on that.
I know that he mentioned he'd check that out. That would somewhat throw a wrench in it. If you approve it, then
Then they
if
don't
he
have to
comes
check it
back and
out.
says,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I will say this now, on this. We're running out of time to get heat over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are. It's gonna be cool here for a while.
Right here shortly.
Yeah.
So if we vote on this now, is there gonna be an issue if they come back and say, well, we'll give you 5 years labor as well? I mean, would there
I
be an
mean,
issue?
if it's to our benefit, I don't think that'd be a problem. But if he comes back, he could come back and say, well, I can't give it to you, but, and then we'll see what, if they charge for an extended warranty for the labor part, then I could bring it back to see if that might be something you want to consider.
I'm pretty sure if we vote on it now, he's not gonna come back and say that he's gonna give it to us. I can tell you that.
Well, you wanna, Commissioner Burch, you wanna make a motion to hold it over to the next meeting?
Well, no, like I said, I was looking at the same thing on the heat part of it, because that's what's gonna be coming next. We're not gonna be needing AC in the next 2 months, we're gonna need some heat, and I don't know how long it's gonna even take them to do this. Did they even specify that? I can't remember.
I don't,
I
they didn't
think
give a
we'll have to
time,
say-
did they?
I think it was like 10 to 12 days.
Intended to do the
I'm
whole
not
project?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were
I
like
mean,
3
they-
months from being able to start,
Yeah,
wasn't
I
it?
think so. I think they weren't gonna start until sometime in late September. So I'm not sure exactly for as a time period.
I think we'll be good to hold off till our next meeting. Cause he'll get back with Scott before then. You think, Mr. County Manager?
Yeah, the next meeting is 2 weeks from today.
Right. That'll give him.
I withdraw my motion. That's what y'all wanna do.
Okay, so what we wanna do?
To make a motion to table it till the next meeting on the courthouse control.
I hear a
and
motion to
VFD
table it then.
boxes.
Chairman, he withdrew his
I don't
motion
know
that, and you
Well,
withdrawing
he
your
come
I
second.
went
back.
through mine. Yep,
That
my
we,
second.
between now and the next meeting, you know, we can find out about this warranty, and then other thing maybe that the attorney may have, and, then vote on it at the next meeting,
That'll be good.
and tell him, you know, what his name, Chris?
Chris, yes, sir.
Man, you almost got it, but it's just that one little thing, you know, if y'all kind of extend that warranty out just a little bit, you know.
He may go up $100,000 on it.
No, we already know what the price is.
He may
You
change
know.
it.
Oh, we
I
spent a
don't
lot
see
of
them
money
doing
with it
nothing
now.
but what's regular for them.
Okay, I hear a motion to table it.
They offer
So
a
moved.
motion to table it to the next meeting, and,
Okay, got a second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to table it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. B, Resolution 2024-20 Municipal Tax Collection Service Agreement with the City of Waycross. That's a routine thing we do every year, ain't it?
Yep.
That give, okay. I hear a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept Resolution 2024-20 Municipal Tax Collection Services Agreement with the City of Waycross for the sum of $30,000 a year.
Okay.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All right, let's vote on it.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, and this really not the county paying, Roger, it's the contract for the city.
The city's paying,
Right.
the city
So
writes
we
a
just-
check to the
We
county.
kinda like a pass-through.
Well,
It's collection.
the statute does require the board's approval for the city to contract with the tax commissioner because certain, staff and other things are required. But yes, essentially, there's no money being cut
Right.
from the county.
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry? Chair votes aye. Okay. Dirt road paving, engineering proposal for statewide engineering. Okay. We've discussed this, we don't know which way we wanna go with it. I think we ought to go ahead and pave them. Get a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion, we go ahead and pave dirt roads, Gibbs Lane and, Thick Bend Road.
Okay. Here, a second.
I'd like to go ahead and get them paved as well. If they come up on that regional, then we're gonna lose 2.5 million. That's what I'm scared of, but
We
then
can,
again,
we just moved them other ones up, that's on the list,
Yeah.
up in the bands. We might not never get to these roads on that regional list.
and we're
the way
gonna
it
have-
looks.
We're gonna have another LMIG coming in January, I believe, so it's probably gonna take them 6 months to
Yeah,
get
but
the,
they money to do it.
so I'll second the motion.
Okay. Second.
So for clarification, Scott, we're voting on a contract with State Right Engineering, right?
Correct, yes, sir.
For these two
For
roads?
these two roads, that's correct.
Okay, the motion was a little unclear, so I want to make sure.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, are we into the discussion phase right now?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Well, I agree, hey, the roads, I rode out there on both the roads, Thick Pen and Gibbs Lane. And, there's no doubt need paving, just like a lot of roads in Ware County needs paving. However, my thing, I guess, would be, like I say, on the regional T-spots, like I say, that could be 5 years from now, it could be 10 years from now, before it gets there. So I understand that part of it, but my next thing is, okay, we got 1.1, I think, right now, for the LME that we have, 2025. Okay, but then we got the other 1.2 or whatever to take to finish up this contract. So what we're saying, we're gonna take the LMIG from next year and use that also?
If we have to, or
I
if we
think
have
that'd be
some of that
sufficient.
1 cent money that we should have the bridge paid for by
By
the
then.
end of the year.
So, Scott, can we do that, take some of the splash money once, I mean, if it gets to that point, we can take and move that over to finish it, and don't have to bother LMIG for the
Yeah, you
2026?
could use all of what it costs out of SPOS to do it.
Okay.
And then use LMIG for something else. if you want to.
Cause it's gonna take them, I think, what we were talking about earlier, around 6, 7 months probably to do the acquisitions and electrical power movement and that kind of stuff. I mean, it might even take them 8 months.
Right.
So that's gonna put us in February, March of next year, 25.
Paving, yeah,
And we're gonna have several other taxes, coming in by then, so.
okay.
But I would love to see these roads paved, that's why I seconded the motion. But we just got to understand that when the regional comes back and they say, all right, we're ready to pave these roads, we've already paved them, that's money that we just
Well, and that's,
threw in the trash.
and I think that's,
No,
I agree
I think it'll
with
work.
what you're saying
we
on
move
that.
over to the end, I think.
But if we can put the ones on the list that's already there, cause there's quite several roads on this list.
Ooh, they bunch of them on there.
All right, so, we can bump all them ahead.
Go ahead and do these now, bump them ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you can wait 10 years to pave something that needs to be paved.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it'd be a good thing.
Any more
I've got a question. Where's the funding coming from for this contract?
He said,
The
Mr. County Manager
LMIG,
said we could pull
we're
out
gonna use
a
the
SPOS.
LMIG that we agreed to the other day.
Well, it's come up, use SPOS, use LMIG, the
He said-
motion should include where the funding's coming from.
He
When we
said
first initially had a meeting about these roads, it was coming from LMIG.
1.2 million,
Is that still the case?
that's right.
So, let me ask this right
It
here.
can come from LMIG, plus if we need to use SPOS on them, we can use that money from SPOS too, along with LMIG.
He said we could use all
Yeah.
And,
That's what I'm saying.
and I guess we all realize, like Timmy said, and I agree what Commissioner Hendry said, that as far as the time is, what the regional T-Splosh, it may be 3 or 4 years, it could be 10 years from now. So that's kinda like a roll of the dice, but once we pay this road, then we know that we giving those 2 roads up, that money's the funding for those roads. And, so what if we did, say like Gibbs Lane? We have enough, even with this LMIG right now, I think, to do that one, wouldn't we?
have more.
More.
It's more.
Just to do Gibbs, Lane. And
I
then
don't
maybe,
re- Yeah, it's about, I think altogether about 800,000.
and then maybe at some point, then like I say, once we get that and get on down the road, we can look at Thigpen, and maybe by that time, the SPOS money we will have availability then.
Is that your motion?
Well, I'm just throwing
We
out
just
some things,
discussed.
you know, what I mean,
Hey, this discussion, we done got a motion and a second.
Got a
He
motion?
just got it under discussion.
And I would just like to clarify, just for the clerk's benefit and for our minutes, the agenda item before you is for statewide engineering, is for the contract for the engineering. Based, and I don't have the minutes in front of me, but based on my recollection, you all previously had approved to use LMIG funding for, the 2 roads that you're discussing. So, Commissioner Hendrick's motion is essentially to not change what you've already approved, right? You
That's
want the
right,
LMIG funding for these 2 roads, and then to contract with statewide for the engineering of
That's
those 2
right,
roads.
of them 2 roads.
Okay, all right,
Don't never back up in the middle of the stream.
don't never back up.
That's the way I understand what we're doing.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that for the clerk, and then
Yeah.
we've got a second, is that clarified? Now, if you all desire, you can vote on that motion, you could withdraw that motion and have another motion made, but we at least wanted that clarified for the.
Okay.
That's right.
We got a motion and a second on that. Any more discussion? Well, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris,
no,
Mr. Pope,
No,
Mr. Locust,
Yes.
Mr. Hendrick,
Yes.
and the chair vote yes. Okay. D, request to advertise for sealed bids for the airport property timber cut.
I'll make a motion that we request to advertise for sealed bids for the airport property timber cutting.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, got a motion and a second on cutting the timber.
And to clarify for that, that's that initial 73, 74, some odd acres. It's not that other area.
Right.
Okay,
And when you cut it, you're gonna have to use that money to clear the grub,
Right.
that 73 acres.
Right.
And hopefully there'll be some more left.
Leave it in the airport fund.
okay. We got a motion and a second to cut the timber. You vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendricks?
Ah,
Chair vote aye. Okay, appointment, E, appointment of Ware County Board of Elections and Registration. We got 4 names, 3 recommended. Would I hear a motion that we,
Mr. Chairman,
Some
I'll
of
make a
y'all's
motion.
choice.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Miss Pam Taylor to the Ware County Board of Elections and Registration.
Pam Taylor? I hear a second on that.
I make a motion that we appoint Mr. Chambliss.
Chambliss,
That's who I vote for.
any more? We got, I guess we'll vote on it. Is that the way we do it?
Well, if we
We
don't
had to
get a,
have a
s-
mo- we
if we don't
second.
get a second, yeah, if we don't get a
We
second,
didn't get a
then
second
the
on the
motion
first one, on the
dies
second.
for lack of a second.
Check,
So it sounds
Do
like
we-
we had
do
a
we have a-
motion that died for lack of a second,
Means
then we
dead.
had a second motion that died for lack of a second. So,
do we have a second for Ms. Taylor? I'll second that motion. Do we have a second for? Well, we don't
no,
have-
well,
need
let's
that.
stop there,
We're
let's
gonna have
stop
to
there.
vote
If we have a
here.
second on the first one, then we need to take a vote on that one.
All right. It's kinda odd, I ain't never did this before.
Yes, sir. A lesson in Robert's Rules of Order, certainly.
Okay. We got a motion and a second on Ms. Taylor. So we need to vote on it. All right. Mr. Burson,
No.
Mr. Pope,
No,
Mr. Lucas,
No.
Mr. Hendrick,
Yes.
and chair vote yes. Okay. So we got to know, so we're gonna have to go to the next one. So who, I guess that's the way we, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer a motion for I want to preface it by saying I've talked, like I said, I talked with each of these individuals, and I didn't have his resume when I talked with them.
Mr.
Dockery,
Dockery.
yeah. And he was already considered a while back, a year or so ago. And things have changed as far as meeting times, and maybe before a vote, we got the election board chair. Would it be proper to ask him to say anything right now, Mr. Chair? or-
Is he here?
Yeah, he's right there.
Oh, okay. Come up, would you? Tell us about him.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Michael Dockery was, like we said, nominated about a year ago. And I sat down with him and talked with him back in July. He's a social science teacher at Pierce County Middle School. He lives in Ware County. He's a young man. As I look at our Board of Elections, I thought, man, we need some young blood on here. So that's why I went after him, because he's a young man and he's very enthusiastic and he knows Constitution and that kind of stuff. As far as opposition to the three, there is no opposition from me. I submitted that name back in July to Mr. Moy, and they had their meeting, I think, last week and came up with these three names. And it's my understanding that Dockery was taken off of their list because he thought that maybe his teaching position would keep him from coming to Board of Elections meetings. So I sat down with the supervisor, we talked about that, and he said, well, we can meet anytime we want to. So we've already discussed, we could have our meetings at 5 o'clock instead of 9 a.m. so that he can attend them. And like I say, I sat down with him for over an hour, and I was talking about the responsibilities and everything for the Board of Elections.
Okay.
Any questions?
Y'all got any questions, Mr. Martin?
So as far as you say, the election supervisor, you already talked with him
Yes,
about
sir.
the timing, and there's no problem with that?
No problem.
Okay, not gonna present
As a
any.
matter of fact, one of the other board members said he'd rather meet at 5 o'clock. So whatever that is.
Okay.
Okay.
I've also spoken to Mr. Dockery, and I think he would be a good member, and I second
Thank you, Mr.
Mr.
Bennett.
Burse's motion.
Okay. You gonna make a motion for Mr.
I
Dockery?
think you made a motion,
I
right?
made a motion.
You done
And I'm
right.
seconding.
You got a second? Okay. I got a motion and a second for Mr. Dockery. All right, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris,
Aye.
Mr. Pope,
Aye.
Mr. Lucas,
No.
Mr. Hendrick,
No.
chair vote no. Okay,
Should we take out this coin right here and flip for the next two, the last two?
Gentlemen, if we're unable to come to a consensus with a majority vote this evening, then, filling this position could be tabled, for a potential, a future meeting. You all could further consider the nominees that have been given. You can add other nominees to the consideration pool. Or
Okay.
if you desire to make another motion tonight, certainly that would still be within order also.
I make a motion on what you just said.
we went through the rest of them.
What
I make
about,
a motion,
We got,
what about Ms. Woodard?
Miss Woodard.
or Mr. Brown, we can make another motion in there, but this is what I will say about it. We had 3 people that showed up tonight to be appointed, and that should carry them a long ways. If you can't be here getting appointed, you don't need to have the job or the position.
Well,
And if you have to change meeting dates and times for one sole person, that shouldn't, I mean, come on, we got people that are actively going to meetings and involved. With all due respect, to have somebody, you gonna change your whole way you do stuff to have this one person. And he wasn't here tonight. Whoever Mr. Docker is, don't know him, but he wasn't here tonight.
And we have 2 sitting here.
We
that's
have
already
2
been-
more sitting right here.
And they've been through the training. They're both certified and they both have already been poll watchers. And I make a motion for Mr. Chambliss again.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All right. Let's vote on it.
any discussion on that?
You got, yeah, discussion.
Yeah, and I can understand what, Commissioner Hendricks is saying to some degree, but it's a lot of times we have appointed people on different boards and stuff like that that weren't here to accept that appointment for various and sundry reasons, why they weren't here, but
I agree.
it's not a prerequisite that you have to be here if you're appointed on a meeting, you have to be in person, but, like I say, that looks good and all that, but it could be a reason why. And the next thing is that, as far as changing, that's something that the Board of Elections and Supervisor, whatever, and based on what Mr. Barlett said, is that some of them say they would rather meet in the evening rather than 9 o'clock in the morning. So,
I agree.
you know,
I agree with what you say, but I do agree too that if you're gonna take it serious, you need to be here.
well, like I said.
And he might have had something else that he couldn't be.
He could've
But
been
we got
legitimate.
3 that's actively involved in the Republican Party's meetings,
Yeah.
and they're doing their part.
Yeah, and he was in the running the last time. I mean, he was on the list and everything, and that was the only reason why he wasn't on there then is because
The
of
school
the meeting
situation.
time. And like I said, I talked with these other individuals, I think it's a great list that we have to choose from, And, but only, unfortunately, they only choose one, and,
That's it.
I wish we could put them all on there,
Okay.
but we can't.
Any more discussion?
so who's the one? we
These
have up
appointments
now?
We
are
got
tough
Mr.
job for
Chambliss
us.
right now, we got a motion
And a
and
second.
a second.
So then Ms. Woodard, we never did.
We hadn't got, if he don't win, then we can go to her.
Okay, well, I mean, we never did even bring her up, Ms. Woodard.
Not yet. Okay. Let's vote. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendrick?
Aye.
Chair vote aye too. Mr. Chambliss? Good pick. Okay. All right, the rezoning request for 1925 Carswell Avenue, partial number WA 0208-014. Okay, I hear a motion that we
So move that we approve the, rezoning request for 1925 Carville Avenue, parcel number WA 208-014.
Okay,
I'll second
Second.
that.
got a motion and a second. Any discussion on it? Not, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Any commission comments?
I got just
I
one.
don't.
Mr. Burris, you got
I
anything?
don't have anything.
You got anything? You got?
I don't got no.
I know all of us has heard the name and seen it all over social media, but a fine young man lost his life to a traffic stop. That used to be a police officer here in Waycross, and I believe he was working up in Carroll County. He had went up there as a deputy for Carroll County, I believe. Is that right, Chief? And he had worked here about 4 years for the city of Waycross before he went up there, and that's Taylor Bristow. And he died of complications after several surgeries that he had because he was shot in the face. And he has succumbed to his injuries, and he's now in a better place. But if y'all don't mind, I would like to, let's remember the family in prayers, and let's just, if we could, just have about a 20, 30-second moment of silence for Taylor Bristow and his family and the people that worked with him, because he was definitely a fine, good young man.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
All right. Any more? Got we heard any more on the, bridges?
Nothing has changed so far on the overpass on US 1. They're on schedule. That project's to be lit next May. And, the one on Albany Avenue, we went back and researched the property values where the walls would be placed, and, the cost to put the walls in far exceed the total cost of acquiring the properties, doing a total take, so to speak. So the bridge designer, which is Michael Baker, big engineering company throughout Georgia, is the bridge designer, and they're redesigning it without the walls. So we'll definitely save from, it looked like somewhere around $3 to $3.5 million just to eliminate the walls.
That's good.
So how would that impact as far as the street and the, traffic flow?
The one, if you're looking at the project, the through road, if you want to call it that, coming from Garlington south and going under the bridge and going around and going out to Waller, that one can take place because there's no CSX right of way on that side that interferes with that. If you look at the east side of the railroad tracks, if you're looking at the project, there where the new lawn mower place is, that right of way of CSX is too far out to be able to get around it or to try to acquire it. CSX will not allow you to impede or encroach on their right of way, nor will they sell it. So that one's gonna have to be, that one won't happen. Those would have to be done as a dead end or a cul-de-sac, so to speak. But the one on the west side, can go through. Yeah, CSX still owns a lot of right of way, even though they closed that line that went across, there by Brunswick Avenue. CSX still owns a lot of right of way in there for some reason. I don't know why, but it goes on to the east. So anyway, the bridge designers got it now. They've already started changing the design to eliminate the walls. So.
Okay.
It's gonna save us a good bit of money.
All right. Any more comment?
Not on that, I would like to mention, the playground, sets out at Bigley.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought that we was gonna kinda deal with that today, and Commissioner Burse has been working on, talking with a guy with a quote. I got 2 quotes, from, a place out of North Georgia, and, from a contractor here to put the, place set up. They said, the community would put them together, but I didn't think that that's what we needed to do for as a liability
Right.
for the county. We need somebody licensed and insured to, put them up. But as of right now, you know, we got 2 quotes. I don't know if you got one. How did he get back with you, Mr.
No, I
Burke?
forwarded to Scott, you know,
Yep.
the guy.
And he ain't said nothing. Or we haven't given him an option which one we're putting together, or?
Well, that's, the ones that, that Ms. Lingenfelder brought to us were commercial, and I think the cheapest one was 17,000. But I was, one of the questions I was gonna ask the commission, do you wanna go with the
one-
set that you found? I think it's
I
got
mean,
the 2
and
colors.
that's entirely up to the commission. I know that set would probably do the job out there. The one for 17,000 didn't look like there was a whole lot of playing on, to me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's one that they
But
brought up.
that was
there,
the
right?
smallest one. That was probably like from 4 to 6 kids
Right.
on it at a
It
time.
was kind of a bare bones sort of
That's
structure.
right. And
And this one you got was less than, what, 5,000?
yeah, it was like 4,100.
Yep.
Probably with shipping.
And it's more or less, I would say borderline commercial. It's more or less really residential, but it's all coated metal, there's no wood, it's all coated metal and all plastic. So you're gonna get longevity out of it.
So Commissioner Hendricks, the 2 quotes you got, were they pretty?
They're close.
reasonable? Okay.
They're close. Actually, the one from, North Georgia was cheaper than the one here.
Then the one local?
Yes, but, you know, by about $500. You know, so, it just all depends on, we got somebody in our backyard, if there is a problem, they don't have to come from North
Right.
Georgia and maybe fix it.
Right.
But we might have to pay a little bit more money for the local boy to do it, you know, so.
So what's the price range y'all have found?
From 2,500 to 3,000
So we could.
to install it.
So basically.
That's just installing.
Is that made out of wooden pallets or something? You can't get nothing for $2,000.
That's the install.
That's the install.
That's-
Oh,
the labor.
what about the
Well,
set?
that's $4,100 for that twin tower that we all
So
looked
for
at
around
the
about
last meeting.
$7,000-8,000, we could have everything done.
For that now she still wanted the 2
Two
bay
swings.
swing set. So that in alone was just as much as that play set. It says they start at like $3,000, but I put in the options of the bays on that, the website that she was on, and it kicked it up to about 4,800 just on the swing set.
But she said she would just really be satisfied we could just get one of them, right?
Well, that play
For
set,
now.
that play set has two swings on it, you know.
Well,
I mean, you know, so I think that would be suffice if, I think of a playground, I like that big swing set too.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the kids will too,
yeah.
but it's just all in what commission. Now, if y'all want me to reach out and get a few more quotes, I will, you know, if that's what the commission wants, but.
I think when Commissioner Barner started this project, the quotes he was looking at in Scott were between $5,000 and $7,000 for the playset.
Yeah,
So that's where y'all are, so I'm satisfied with that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think.
It was actually 41, it was on running a little sale now.
Yeah.
Hopefully we still
They
get the
had it
sale, but it
marked
had
down.
like a $600 rebate on it or something,
Yeah.
I believe.
I think. Well,
I'm
just
good
glad-
with, and the swings too, if you want that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm just
Yeah.
glad, you know, Commissioner Hendricks took the initiative to try to look
Yeah.
around, you know, and find to save a lot of money and really getting more bang for the buck.
Well, I'll tell you, on this install side, you didn't find a lot of people that just installs these play sets.
Right.
And actually, I forwarded you, playground sets of Georgia, I forwarded that email. I didn't get the email, just got verbal what it would be from the contractor here, which is Brad Boyd Construction, BBC.
I think another thing, you check, some of them places, they sell the set, but they don't.
They sell the
don't-
set, but they don't do
don't
installs.
install.
I believe if we went that other route to that commercial kind, we fixed, I believe the install probably cost you $5,600 to $10,000.
Yeah.
I don't know what they've been costing at the parks, but I believe that they'd be up there. You know, you got a $20,000 playground set, you know, about normal prices, what, half of your materials?
Yeah.
About on stuff, so you'd be looking at probably 10 grand to
Install.
install a $20,000, so. And we also need to get some topsoil out there and we need to get out there and finish up our job,
Yeah.
really.
I'll get with Larry, and get that taken care of.
Okay.
Didn't it say something about a tree out there too? That needs
Yeah,
to be-
I
dead
think
tree
I
out
can
there.
work on that, as far as, getting that, because the Denton said that we could just push that tree over and just push it off. So, I don't think we need to get a surgeon involved, you know, cost us any money on that end.
Okay.
And the sand, got to think about this sand, had a few people call, and there might be an issue if we do sand bedding for that playground, could be an issue with animals and ringworms, sandworms, animals, you know, feces in the sand
Right.
itself.
So what could we
A
put?
lot of
on it?
cats, you know, feral cats would come wanna use as a litter box.
So what could we use other than sand, like,
It would have to be a
some kind
wood
of
chip.
rubber rides? That rubber ride stuff, don't they use that sometimes?
Yeah, you'll get into more money.
Yeah.
You know, doing something like that. I think that wood chips will probably be sufficient.
Or even straw. Straw would keep it from washing away. But wood chips would be stronger and better.
Well, I think probably the wood chips. Now, and I'll get some prices on the swing set bays, but they're all about the same. I think that'd be good if we could go ahead and get that for them. You know, but like I said, that's up to the commission.
No, I'll be good with it too.
And now I don't, you know, that's gonna add on to the install price too, naturally, cause that's a whole different entity itself right there, so.
So that place where you find the swing set, they have the gym set, they have swing sets too?
That's gonna come from a different company, the swing set will be.
They want to get it and put it on the next
Yes,
meeting.
if we can.
Okay.
Just email him the prices you get on the food.
I guess put it on the next meeting and it's got
I bet he's done got the price on the
playground.
I'll get the total cost for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any more comment? If not, I hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Chair.
Second.
Third.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to adjourn, all in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.